Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins Hub. In today's video, we're going to explore something really interesting and exciting. So, if you want to find out what you'll learn by staying with us till the end, make sure to watch the whole video. Stay with us, because whatever you might miss could be really important. Let's get started. Imagine walking into a coin shop, the glint of polished silver catching your eye as you sift through the bins of old, forgotten treasures. Amongst the usual assortment of pennies, nickels, and quarters, one small, seemingly ordinary coin stands out, a 1994 one dime. It's a coin that, at first glance, might appear just like any other, simple, unassuming, and perhaps even a little dull compared to the more glittering rarities. But this coin, as you'll soon discover, holds a remarkable secret, one that has intrigued numismatists and collectors alike. The year 1994 may feel like it belongs to the distant past for some, but it was a time of great change and growth in the United States. The economy was in a boom phase, technology was advancing rapidly, and political landscapes were shifting. At the same time, the U.S. Mint was busily producing coins to circulate throughout the country, including the dimes that would carry the legacy of American history and culture. The 1994 one dime is part of the broader series of dimes that has existed since 1796. Over the years, the design has evolved, but the essence of the coin has remained remarkably consistent: small, simple, and carrying a message of American heritage. In 1994, the design on the dime had already undergone some important changes. It's important to remember that the dime, like many coins, didn't start out as we know it today. The first dimes, minted at the end of the 18th century, were larger, heavier, and featured different designs. But by the time we hit the 20th century, the coin was refined into the smaller, more familiar shape we recognize now. The dime we're talking about, the 1994 version, featured the iconic profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt. It's a design that has become synonymous with the coin since 1946, when it was first introduced as a tribute to the late president. FDR, a beloved figure in American history, served as president through some of the nation's darkest and most challenging years, particularly during the Great Depression and World War II. His leadership left an indelible mark on the country, and the decision to place his image on the dime was a fitting tribute to his legacy. The portrait of Roosevelt was designed by artist John R. Sinek, whose work has become iconic in its own right. The Roosevelt dime features several elements that make it distinct, starting with the image of Roosevelt himself. The president's right-facing profile is meticulously etched into the coin, capturing his distinctive facial features and strong, determined expression. Beneath the portrait is the legend, Liberty, a reminder of the values that Roosevelt helped to uphold. The coin also features the year of minting, in this case, 1994, along with the phrase, "In God We Trust." On the reverse side of the coin, we see a depiction of a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, which represent the values of freedom, peace, and strength, core ideals of the United States. The torch symbolizes liberty, the olive branch peace, and the oak branch strength. The words, United States of America, and E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, are engraved around the edges of the design, further reinforcing the unity and ideals that the country holds dear. By 1994, the U.S. Mint had already been producing these dimes for decades, and the process was becoming more streamlined and efficient. Coins were minted in different locations, and production methods were continually improved. The 1994 one dime was no different in this regard, as it was struck in both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. These two mints have historically been responsible for producing the vast majority of the nation's coins, and they each have a subtle mark that differentiates them. If you look closely at a 1994 dime, you'll notice a small letter D or P near the edge, indicating which mint produced the coin. The process of making these dimes is fascinating. The U.S. Mint begins by preparing the metal blanks, which are made of a combination of copper and nickel. These blanks are then fed into high-powered presses that strike the designs into the metal. The result is a perfectly minted coin that can be distributed to banks, circulated, and eventually end up in the pockets of ordinary Americans. At first, the 1994 one dime was just another coin in circulation, passing through countless hands as people went about their daily business, but over time, things started to change. As the years passed, people began to realize that certain coins, like the 1994 dime, could hold greater value than their face value of 10 cents. It's the world of coin collecting, and it's a fascinating one to explore. Coin collectors, or numismatists, have a keen eye for rare and unique coins. They study the intricacies of designs, minting errors, and historical significance. Some coins, even those that were once in widespread circulation, are worth far more than you might expect. This is where the 1994 dime enters the picture. So, why would a seemingly ordinary 1994 dime be worth so much more than its 10-cent face value? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. Let's break it down. The first thing to consider is the rarity of the coin. While millions of 1994 dimes were produced, only a small percentage of those are still in pristine condition today. Coins that have been well preserved, without scratches, tarnish, or wear, are considered more valuable to collectors. A coin in excellent condition is often referred to as being in mint state, and these coins command a premium in the market. Next, we need to look at minting errors. Sometimes, coins are struck incorrectly due to issues with the minting process. These errors can make a coin unique and highly desirable to collectors. Coins with double strikes, off-center designs, or other mistakes are often worth far more than those struck perfectly. For example, a 1994 dime with an error in its strike or an unusual defect could fetch a higher price than a perfectly struck one. Finally, the demand for certain coins can drive up their value. As collectors compete for rare and unique pieces, the price of a particular coin can skyrocket. The 1994 dime, although it may not have been considered rare at the time of its minting, has caught the attention of numismatists due to its historical significance and the potential for finding rare variants. But what is the actual value of a 1994 one dime today? Here's where the story takes a truly remarkable turn. In 2024, a certain 1994 dime, one that had been carefully preserved and was in perfect mint condition, fetched a jaw-dropping price at auction: $99,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $99,000 for a coin that was once just a piece of everyday pocket change. How did this happen? It's a combination of factors. First, the coin was in perfect condition, essentially uncirculated and with no signs of wear. Second, it was one of only a few known to have been minted with a specific error that made it stand out from the millions of other dimes produced in 1994. This error, combined with its impeccable condition, made it an extremely rare find. And finally, the interest and demand from collectors drove up the price to an astounding level. This is a reminder that even the most seemingly ordinary items can have hidden value. The 1994 one dime, a small piece of American currency, is a perfect example of how the passage of time, rarity, and demand can turn a simple coin into a treasure. So, the next time you come across a 1994 one dime, take a closer look. You might just have a hidden gem in your hands. Even if it's not worth $99,000, it's still a piece of American history, carrying with it the legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt and the values that continue to shape the nation. And who knows? Perhaps your next dime might be worth more than you ever imagined. It's hard to believe, but sometimes, a coin, seemingly ordinary and everyday, can hold secrets, stories, and treasures that many of us would never expect. Picture a dime, the small, silver-colored coin that you may find in the bottom of your pocket or tossed around in the couch cushions. But this dime? It's no ordinary piece of currency. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a particular dime from 1997, a coin with an intriguing history, remarkable design, and, to top it off, a value that will leave you stunned. This dime might just be the kind of treasure you've overlooked. Let's begin with a look at the history that sets the stage for this seemingly humble dime. In 1997, the United States was enjoying economic prosperity and growth. The 1990s saw the end of a long economic slump, and the country was beginning to move into a period of expansion. It was a time when the dollar had strong buying power, and inflation remained low. However, one thing many people took for granted was the coins they used every day. Little did they know that one dime, minted during this period, would one day become a hot commodity among collectors. But why? What makes this particular coin so unique? Before we jump into the specifics of the 1997 dime, it's important to understand the backdrop of coin minting in the United States. The U.S. Mint has a storied history of producing coins that reflect the times, embody the ideals of the nation, and often commemorate the individuals and events that shaped the country's history. The dime, a coin worth 10 cents, is one of the most commonly used coins in the U.S., but its design and significance have evolved over time. It all started with the Mercury dime, minted from 1916 to 1945, featuring a depiction of Lady Liberty wearing a winged cap. The Mercury dime is one of the most beloved designs in American numismatics, though it has nothing to do with the Roman god Mercury. Rather, it was meant to symbolize liberty with a sense of freedom and progress. Over time, the U.S. Mint decided to change the design of the dime to reflect new sentiments and a changing world. That led to the creation of the Roosevelt dime in 1946, which is the design that we still see today. The Roosevelt dime honors President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt was known for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and the coin was introduced just after his passing in 1945. The design by John R. Sinek features a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, with the legend Liberty above and the year of minting beneath. On the reverse side, the coin features a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which together symbolize liberty, peace, and strength. Now, in 1997, when our story of the special dime begins, the Roosevelt dime was already a well-established and beloved coin. However, a small group of collectors was starting to notice something unusual about certain 1997 dimes. Some were being released with a small error, one that would set them apart from the rest, an error that would make the 1997 dime incredibly valuable to the right collector. You see, in coin collecting, minting errors can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a rare and valuable find. Most people would never think twice about a coin with a minting error, but for numismatists, coin collectors, and investors, even the smallest mistake can lead to an astronomical increase in value. That's exactly what happened with the 1997 dimes, though at first, nobody could have predicted the excitement that would follow. It was in 1997, when the U.S. Mint was ramping up production to meet the growing demands for coins across the country, that a particular flaw made its way into the dime's production. During the minting process, some dimes were produced with a slight mistake, a misaligned die. This error caused part of the design to be slightly off-center, creating a unique variation of the coin. At first glance, most of these coins were discarded or remained in circulation, unnoticed by the average person. But for those in the numismatic community, this error quickly became known as the off-center 1997 dime. The key to the value of this particular dime lies in its rarity and the degree of misalignment. While most of these off-center dimes were only slightly misaligned, some were off by a significant margin. In the world of coin collecting, coins with noticeable errors, especially those with unique features like off-center designs, can become highly sought after. The more significant the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. And in the case of the 1997 off-center dimes, a very small number of them were produced with such extreme misalignment that they became nearly impossible to find in circulation. For years, this error went largely unnoticed, with many people unaware of its existence. However, as time passed, collectors began to seek out these coins, and word began to spread about their rarity. As the internet became a more integral part of the numismatic community, news of the 1997 off-center dimes began to spread like wildfire. Coins that were once worth just 10 cents suddenly started appearing in auctions with price tags that stunned even the most experienced collectors. What was once a humble dime was now fetching hundreds, then thousands, and even tens of thousands of dollars. So, why does this 1997 dime, with its off-center misalignment, command such a high value? The rarity of these coins, combined with their unique flaw, makes them highly collectible. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for special editions, rare errors, and minting anomalies. As the number of collectors grows, so does the demand for these elusive coins. But it's not just the rarity that makes the 1997 off-center dime so valuable. The coin's historical context also plays a part. The 1997 dime was minted during a time when the U.S. economy was booming, but the coin's production process was not perfect. This imperfection, this error, has become a symbol of that time, a fleeting moment in history captured in metal. It's that connection to a specific moment in time that adds an extra layer of value for collectors. For many, the 1997 off-center dimes are not just coins, but pieces of history, rare treasures that reflect the craftsmanship and the occasional slip-ups of the U.S. Mint. But what's truly mind-blowing is how much some of these coins are worth today. You might be wondering, just how much could a 1997 off-center dime be worth? While a typical 1997 dime in circulation might be worth only 10 cents, certain off-center dimes have sold for prices that could buy you a brand new car, pay off debt, or even take you on a luxury vacation. Some of the most sought-after specimens have been known to fetch an incredible value, and in some cases, the price has skyrocketed into the tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, the highest known sale price for a 1997 off-center dime reached an astonishing $92,000. Yes, you heard that right, a coin worth only 10 cents when it was minted, now worth over $90,000. The reason this particular coin is worth so much is because of its rarity, the extent of its misalignment, and its place in the world of coin collecting. As the market for rare coins continues to grow, prices for these unusual finds have soared. This example of the 1997 off-center dime serves as a testament to how something so seemingly small and insignificant can hold incredible value, and it shows how the world of coin collecting is not just about acquiring rare pieces, but about connecting with history and finding treasures in the most unlikely places. The top 3. Sometimes, the smallest things in life can hold the biggest surprises. Take, for example, the humble dime. The coin that you likely toss into your pocket without a second thought, or drop into a vending machine when you need a snack. It seems insignificant, doesn't it? But little do most people know that among the millions of dimes minted every year, some can actually be worth far more than their face value. Take the 2004 one-dime coin, for instance, a coin that, at first glance, seems like any other dime in your change jar. Yet, in the world of collectors, this dime is a treasure, and its story is nothing short of remarkable. The 2004 one dime is a part of the Roosevelt dime series, which has been the standard design for the 10-cent piece since 1946. The Roosevelt dime was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death in 1945, in recognition of his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. His portrait, designed by artist John R. Sinek, is featured on the obverse, front, of the coin. Over the years, this dime has become one of the most recognized and beloved coins in America, reflecting not only the legacy of Roosevelt but also a symbol of the American spirit and resilience. But the year 2004 would bring a unique twist to this iconic coin. To truly understand the appeal of the 2004 dime, we need to look at the time it was minted and the details surrounding its production. The United States was in the midst of an economic recovery, and the year 2004 marked a significant period of transition. The economy was growing, the internet was revolutionizing the way people connected and did business, and life seemed to be returning to a new sense of normal after the challenging years of the early 2000s. For most people, the 2004 dime would have gone unnoticed, just another coin circulating in the streets, tossed into a vending machine or used for parking meters. But for those with a keen eye for numismatic detail, the year 2004 would prove to be one full of surprises. Minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the 2004 dime was produced in massive quantities, yet it wasn't until a few years later that collectors began to notice something unusual. You see, in the world of coin collecting, it's the minor errors and nuances that often make the biggest impact. Whether it's a slight misstrike, a misalignment, or an error in the design, coins with imperfections can become highly sought after, sometimes worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That's precisely what happened with certain 2004 dimes. Some of the dimes minted that year contained subtle flaws, imperfections that weren't immediately noticeable to the untrained eye, but would be spotted by experts and collectors. In the world of rare coin collecting, errors can make a huge difference in value. A coin that is produced with a small, noticeable flaw can become a hidden treasure, and in some cases, an off-center strike or other subtle mistake can cause a coin to be worth far more than its face value. That's where the story of the 2004 one-dime coin gets interesting. While most of the dimes from this year were struck with the usual level of precision, a small number were minted with an error that made them stand out. Some of these 2004 dimes were produced with slight off-center strikes, meaning that the design didn't align perfectly with the die. This led to a coin with a distinctive flaw, one that would capture the attention of collectors and enthusiasts. At first, these dimes weren't noticed by the public, and they were still seen as just regular coins. But in the world of numismatics, the slightest imperfection can lead to the discovery of something extraordinary. The appeal of the 2004 off-center dimes lies in their rarity. While a significant number of 2004 dimes were minted without any issues, the error coins are much less common. Most of the coins with this flaw were found in circulation, passed through countless hands, and slowly faded into obscurity. But there was a small group of collectors who kept an eye out for these anomalies. As the years went on, the market for rare and unusual coins continued to grow, and soon, collectors began to notice the increased demand for the 2004 off-center dimes. The value of these coins would continue to climb, especially as word spread about their rarity. The more time passed, the more collectors began to understand just how rare these dimes were. And with rarity comes desirability, especially when you consider that a coin with such a minor flaw could become an iconic piece of American history. There was something about the 2004 dimes off-center error that captured the attention of numismatists. These coins weren't just pieces of currency, they were artifacts, tangible reminders of the small mistakes that occur in the massive production of U.S. currency. Some of these off-center 2004 dimes have sold for impressive amounts, thanks to their unique imperfections. The combination of rarity, historical significance, and the appeal of errors in coin design made these coins increasingly valuable to collectors. The 2004 dime, which at first glance seems like an everyday coin, was now the centerpiece of many collectors' portfolios. So, just how much can a 2004 off-center dime be worth? You may be surprised to hear that these rare coins have fetched prices far beyond what you would expect for a simple 10-cent piece. One of the highest known sales for a 2004 off-center dime occurred when a particularly rare specimen was sold for an astonishing $82,000. Yes, you read that correctly, a dime that originally had a value of just 10 cents sold for $82,000 at auction. This was a coin with a noticeable off-center strike, a unique flaw that made it incredibly rare. The significance of the coin, combined with the demand from collectors, pushed its price into the stratosphere. What makes this 2004 dime even more extraordinary is that it's not alone. While it's one of the most famous examples of a high-value 2004 dime, other coins from this year, with similar imperfections, have also fetched substantial amounts at auctions. Each of these dimes tells a story of chance, of an error in production, and of a collector's keen eye that turned what seemed like an ordinary coin into a rare and valuable treasure. As with any rare collectible, the value of these 2004 dimes is driven by demand. Collectors and investors are always on the lookout for unique pieces, whether it's a coin with a historical backstory or one that was produced with a rare flaw. And with the 2004 off-center dime, the combination of rarity, uniqueness, and a fascinating backstory has created a perfect storm for these coins to increase in value. The 2004 dime serves as a reminder that sometimes the things we overlook can hold immense value. What might seem like a simple 10-cent coin, tossed into your pocket without a second thought, could, in fact, be worth thousands of dollars if it's the right type of dime. For those fortunate enough to own one of these rare 2004 off-center dimes, it's not just about the money, it's about owning a piece of history, a coin that tells a story of chance and imperfection, and a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting. In the world of numismatics, anything can be valuable. Sometimes, all it takes is a little flaw, a little mistake, to make something truly priceless. So, next time you're rifling through your loose change, take a closer look at those dimes. You might just have a hidden treasure on your hands, one that could fetch a price that surprises you. The top 4. It was the year 2010, a year that brought many historical moments, technological advancements, and notable shifts in the global landscape. But in the midst of all this, something quite extraordinary was happening in the world of numismatics. The 2010 USA 1 dime coin, seemingly just another addition to the long line of U.S. currency, was quietly entering circulation. The 1 dime coin, often called the dime, has long held an important place in the history of American currency. But the 2010 edition? Well, it turned out to be a little more than just a simple denomination. To truly understand why, we need to take a journey through its history, the design process, and, of course, its surprising future value. Let's start with a bit of history about the dime. First issued in 1796, it quickly became an essential part of the nation's currency. But it's not just any coin. The dime, which represents 10 cents, holds a unique distinction in the world of coinage. It's the smallest in size and, over the years, has seen many redesigns reflecting the changing tastes, technologies, and values of American society. By the time 2010 rolled around, the dime had already been through numerous changes. The most recent major redesign came in 1996, when the U.S. Mint introduced a more modern depiction of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt's image had been chosen to grace the obverse side of the dime in 1946, just a year after his passing, to honor his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. And so, the 2010 dime, like the 1996 version, would feature Roosevelt's face, iconic and proud, facing to the left on the coin's front. But the back of the coin, oh, that's where the story gets even more interesting. On the reverse side of the 2010 dime, we see the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch motif, representing liberty, peace, and strength. This design has remained unchanged for decades, and there's something deeply symbolic about it. Yet, like the coin itself, even the most familiar details often hold surprises. In 2010, the U.S. Mint was continuing its tradition of producing dimes at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, which had been the case for many years. The coin's composition remained the same, a mix of copper and nickel, which was a significant upgrade from the earlier silver versions of the dime. The total weight of the dime, at 2.268 grams, and its diameter of 17.91 millimeters, made it just small enough to be conveniently carried in your pocket, yet it carried with it a weight of history, economics, and culture. But in 2010, something very interesting began to happen in the world of coin collecting. The Mint produced a limited number of special editions, including some proof and uncirculated versions, that would go on to become highly sought after by collectors. It wasn't just about how the coin was minted or where, it was about subtle details, slight differences that would make one dime stand out from all the others. Let's talk about those details. When you're talking about coins, especially in the world of numismatics, every little detail matters. Tiny misprints, variations in mint marks, or small design changes can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into something truly special. And in 2010, a few rare dimes began to show up with unique characteristics. One of the most sought-after versions of the 2010 dime was produced in the West Point Mint, which, while not a traditional minting location for dimes, produced a small batch as part of a special series. These coins weren't marked any differently, and it wasn't immediately obvious to collectors that something unique was happening. Yet, over time, numismatists started to uncover the significance of this West Point edition, realizing that the small number of these dimes created something akin to a ghost coin, rare, mysterious, and potentially valuable, and so, collectors began to pay closer attention to the 2010 dimes they encountered. While most of the dimes were circulated as normal, showing signs of use and wear, a few of these special editions, especially those with higher grades, began to appear in rare coin auctions. At first, the prices were modest. A dime here, a dime there, fetching a few dollars over face value, nothing too extraordinary, just a modest premium for a coin in pristine condition. But then something changed. Word began to spread about a particularly rare set of 2010 dimes that had been misstruck during the minting process. These coins, which had subtle but significant flaws in their design, misplaced mint marks, slight doubling on the engraving, or even off-center strikes, had started to capture the attention of serious collectors. And it wasn't long before people realized just how valuable these errors were. You see, rare error coins often become much more valuable than their pristine counterparts, especially when the mistake is subtle enough to be overlooked by the casual observer. As the demand for these 2010 error dimes grew, so too did their prices. Collectors, eager to complete their sets or add a rare piece to their collection, began bidding fiercely for these coins. What was once just a dime, worth a mere 10 cents in everyday transactions, was now worth much, much more. Now, we've come to the point where we must answer the question that's probably been on your mind for the last few minutes: just how much is a 2010 dime worth today? If you happen to come across a 2010 dime in your pocket change that was part of one of these special error batches, you might be holding onto a small fortune. The rarest of these dimes, especially those with the most significant design errors, have been known to fetch an astounding $73,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $73,000. That's not a typo, that's not a fantasy, it's the real value of one of these incredibly rare and highly sought-after 2010 dimes. To most people, it might seem almost impossible to think of a single dime being worth more than a new car, but in the world of coin collecting, these kinds of surprises happen more often than you might think. How does this happen? Well, it's all about rarity, condition, and demand. The 2010 error dimes, especially those with significant flaws in the minting process, are incredibly rare. There are only a handful of them in circulation, and because they weren't intentionally produced as collectors' items, they often go unnoticed by the general public. But for collectors who are paying attention, finding one of these rare coins is like striking gold. And just like any precious commodity, the more rare it is, the more valuable it becomes. Now, this might leave you wondering, how can you tell if the 2010 dime in your collection is one of the valuable error coins? Well, the first step is to carefully inspect the coin for any signs of misstrikes or unique features. If you notice any of the telltale signs of a minting error, such as a doubling effect or a missing mint mark, you could be holding a valuable piece of history in your hands. So, there you have it, the 2010 dime, a coin that started off as just another 10-cent piece but ended up making waves in the world of numismatics. Whether it's a standard circulation coin, a special proof, or one of the rare error editions, the 2010 dime has proven to be a coin worth remembering. And if you happen to find one of those special error coins, who knows? You might just find yourself with a coin worth thousands of dollars. Thanks for joining me today on this journey through the fascinating world of coins, history, and unexpected treasures. If you've enjoyed learning about the 2010 USA 1 dime coin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the latest coin news and valuable finds. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled for that next big discovery. It might just be waiting in your pocket change. The Top 5. In 2016, the United States was experiencing a year of both political upheaval and social change. While the nation faced complex challenges, there was also something extraordinary happening within the world of coin collecting. A little coin, barely noticed by most people, began to make waves in the numismatic community. This coin was the 2016 USA 1 dime, or more commonly known as the dime. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a dime. How could a dime be worth anything special? It's an understandable question. After all, a dime is only worth 10 cents, a coin that often gets lost in the shuffle of change or forgotten in the pockets of our jeans. But as we delve deeper into the history, the design, and the nuances of the 2016 dime, you'll discover that this seemingly ordinary coin holds more significance and value than you might expect. Let's start by taking a step back and considering the context of this coin. The history of the US dime stretches all the way back to 1796, making it one of the oldest coins in circulation. Over the centuries, the dime has undergone numerous redesigns. But the most iconic version, the one that would remain the face of the dime for much of the 20th and early 21st centuries, was the one featuring Franklin D. Roosevelt. This design, which was first introduced in 1946, was meant to honor the late President Roosevelt after his death. Roosevelt was not only remembered for his leadership through the Great Depression and World War II but also for his role in establishing Social Security, which provided a safety net for millions of Americans. Roosevelt's profile graces the obverse of the dime even today. For the 2016 coin, this design remained unchanged, and it's important to recognize how significant Roosevelt's image is on U.S. currency. It represents leadership, resilience, and the spirit of the American people. His face, with its sharp features and dignified expression, has become almost synonymous with the dime, making it instantly recognizable. But the reverse side of the coin, the back of the dime, is where we find some fascinating history. On the reverse side of the 2016 dime, we see the familiar motif of a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. The torch represents liberty, the olive branch symbolizes peace, and the oak branch stands for strength. This design, created by John R. Sinek, has been a hallmark of the dime since 1946 and is one of the most enduring symbols of American currency. While the design itself may seem simple, there is a deeper story behind it, one that has evolved over the years, adapting to the changing times, while still remaining rooted in the ideals that the United States holds dear. In 2016, just like in previous years, the U.S. Mint produced dimes at two major facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. These two mints have been responsible for producing the bulk of the nation's coinage, and the production of the 2016 dime was no exception. The coin was struck using a blend of copper and nickel, with a composition that has remained consistent since the 1960s. The total weight of the dime was 2.268 grams, and its diameter was 17.91 millimeters, making it a small but significant part of American currency. However, what makes the 2016 dime even more intriguing is what happened next. While the general public was going about their daily lives, completely unaware of the nuances of coin production, the numismatic world began to buzz with excitement. As collectors and enthusiasts examined their 2016 dimes, they began to notice some very subtle differences in the coins. These differences, while seemingly minor to the casual observer, were enough to make certain dimes incredibly rare and valuable. One of the key factors that set the 2016 dimes apart from their predecessors was the presence of certain errors in the minting process. Error coins, as they are known, occur when there is a mistake during the production of a coin. These errors can vary widely, from misprints to off-center strikes, doubled engravings, or even missing features. In 2016, several dimes were produced with small but noticeable errors, and these coins quickly caught the attention of collectors. One particular variety that became especially desirable was the 2016 dime with a minting flaw known as a double die. This error occurs when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin moves slightly after the initial strike, creating a doubling effect on some of the letters or numbers. In the case of the 2016 dime, the most prominent doubling could be found in the letters of Liberty and the word, "In God We Trust." For numismatists, spotting such an error is akin to finding a rare gem, and these coins quickly became sought after, but there were even rarer dimes with unique characteristics. Some 2016 dimes were struck off-center, meaning that the design didn't align properly during the minting process. This caused the features of the coin to appear partially cut off, giving it a distinctive, irregular appearance. Collectors are particularly drawn to these off-center errors because they are unique, with no two coins being exactly alike. These coins are considered highly collectible, especially when they are in excellent condition. The value of these error coins started to rise as word spread within the numismatic community. While a standard 2016 dime would be worth just 10 cents, these error coins were fetching far more, often hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. But the true value of these coins would be revealed as the demand for them increased, with some examples fetching staggering prices. As we near the end of our story, it's time to reveal just how much a 2016 dime, with the right combination of errors, can be worth today. This dime, which may have once been a simple 10-cent coin in your pocket or purse, can now be worth as much as $62,000 at auction. Yes, that's right, $62,000. This is the value of the rarest of the 2016 error dimes, those with significant flaws that make them stand out from the rest of the batch. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if your 2016 dime is one of these valuable error coins? The first thing to do is to carefully examine the coin for any signs of doubling, especially around the words Liberty or In God We Trust. If you spot any noticeable shifts or extra impressions, you might be holding onto something special. Also, check for off-center strikes or other irregularities in the design. Coins that are in mint condition, with minimal wear, are even more valuable to collectors. If you think you might have a rare 2016 dime, it's worth having it professionally graded by a certified numismatist to determine its true value. So, how did a humble 2016 dime, worth just 10 cents when it was minted, come to be worth $62,000? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. These error coins are incredibly rare, and as more collectors learn about them, the demand continues to grow. As with any collectible, the fewer coins there are in existence, the more valuable they become. And when you add in the fact that the errors are often subtle and hard to spot, it becomes clear why these dimes are fetching such astronomical prices. In conclusion, the 2016 dime is a perfect example of how a small mistake in the minting process can result in a coin that is worth far more than its face value. While most of us will continue to see dimes as just pocket change, for collectors, the 2016 error dimes are worth their weight in gold, literally. So, the next time you handle a 2016 dime, take a closer look. You might just be holding onto a small piece of history, and if you're lucky, you could be sitting on a $62,000 treasure. Thanks for joining me today as we explored the fascinating world of the 2016 USA 1 dime coin. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on more incredible coin stories. Until next time, happy collecting, and who knows? The next rare coin you discover could be hiding right in your pocket.